Hello friends, September the 24th, pretty much midnight. This is a powerful time for anyone and everyone. We are moving so fast towards singularity. As I laid out in my last video, it is the first thing when the boundaries are breaking down that we are more feeling each other's shadows, more having to deal with all the incongruences which are between human beings. And this is exactly happening right now. There was a big kind of a logjam, you could say, which was last week. Probably many of you experienced that, and there was a breakthrough from Saturday to Sunday. And I just happened to look at this, and it seems to be totally in synchronicity with that opening which occurred early Sunday morning when JUNO, the asteroid of partnership, of working together, which is really the one which is most kind of expressing that working being coming together, sharing same goals, sharing same intentions, and that's exactly what we are building towards, to get the whole humanity onto the same page, onto the same wavelength, which doesn't mean that everybody is the same, but that we work together, that we harmonize, are moving in a coherent field, in that sense, energizing one another. And that is really you could say, what will bring the change. This will make it impossible for any energy which is not matching to coexist, to stay here. It will be impossible. The environment will no more allow for those energies to be here. So exactly that's what we're working toward. And this is a powerful area in the zodiac, 150730. It starts till 20 degrees 45 in Libra. This is hexagram 57. 57 is the gentle wind below and wind above. It is clarity, insight, the understanding of a way bigger pattern. It's kind of like the fogs are clearing. That's kind of what it feels. And that exactly was something which anybody and everybody was all of a sudden experiencing in their own personal, individual environment, play, the people we deal with, we work with, we live with, that all of a sudden we found a way to harmonize despite those shadows which have become more clear, and we are becoming aware of the incongruences, those little things which really can throw one off, but which have to be seen as little details that don't really matter that much. In the end, it is these little edges and differences which make things interesting in the end, because if we would be too much just always exactly how we expect each other to be, then I guess it would get a little bit boring. So anyway, why is this chart so powerful? Look at the moon. The moon in a grand trine with Pluto and the sun here. Beautiful big trine. The moon is the emotions, the ways we in a more primal way blend in and resonate with reality, very much from the belly. The moon is also the child within ourselves is very much represented by the moon, is that primal self of just being who you are without too much thinking, very much like an animal or a plant. That's often what I think the moon represents, that really most organic, natural self, part of nature, in a perfect balancing point with Pluto here being certainly the most potent planet right now of all the slow ones in that last degree of Capricorn, and the Sun in the last minutes of Virgo, the big Earth trine, which really gives substance, and it also really enlarges this trine aspect, this 120 degree aspect. The Sun in those last minutes of Virgo, this is a place of profound understanding. It's kind of a culmination point of individuality, you could say. This is the final degree of the first 180 degrees of the zodiac, which is all about individuality, finding that crystallization within, and then once that has been established, we are ready to dive into the collective and become part of a greater whole, which is the second part of the zodiac. So this is a super powerful degree, and with the moon in the last degree of Taurus, Pluto the last degree of Capricorn, this is a enormous empowerment of that singularity we are moving towards, of really finding that balancing principle, as I described just before, that we honor, understand each other's frailties and shortcomings, and that is where compassion comes in, and that is also then it gives the opening, the potential for these things to slowly become less important and less prominent too, because it's all what we are expecting in a way we are usually getting, even though that's not really how we see it, but on a deeper unconscious level, whatever we pull into our lives is what we are needing to experience, you could say. Yes, there is also this square of Venus with Pluto, which is definitely kind of pushing us to go to the extreme point of how to figure out what exactly it is that we are at times clashing into each other. That's really kind of what the square aspect is in a way. It is two different viewpoints clashing into each other, and with Venus in the last degree here of Libra in her own sign, this is also then gives the ability of reconciliation, of understanding that yes, power games at times also have their necessity and beauty. It kind of really downgrades all the extreme aspects once we come from the higher perspective in a way, and with that grand trine here and Neptune here hang in here also in a 150 degree aspect to the moon. It is as actually a really fascinating process we are going through. and the moon naturally between Uranus and Sedna, and this just hours before the sun enters Libra, really the starting point of that next level up of the integration process. As I said, this is then when we really are opening our doors to a more collective, universal experience with the moment when the sun enters Libra, which is then this chart here. Just a little later, you see before you had an ascendant here in the 7th degree of Scorpio here for the Greenwich chart, and this is an hour or two later when the sun then enters Libra, and by that time now the moon is in conjunction with Sedna in Gemini. This is kind of really bringing out the information from the deep, all the hidden sources. Sedna, kind of the holder of all the mysteries and secrets from the last 13,000 or whatever, 12,000 years. So this is kind of the base note of this whole season into winter solstice. It's all about bringing to the forefront and bringing our attention and to those deeper principles from the deep sea, you could say, from the deep space, from unknown and hidden dimensions. Anyway, I leave it at that. I thought this JUNO shift was super interesting, as just at that moment before we were entering into this more collective next phase of who we are. Actually, yes, this is the one thing I really wanted to point out. There's always things I forget saying. When the sun entered Libra, you see JUNO is here highest up in the zenith. A pretty clear indication that this is an important asteroid for our present times. I said it many times, that's kind of the grassroots movement which we are needing on a much, much stronger base. People have to come together, overcoming their differences. That is really the recipe for success. That's where we're going, that's what we're working on, and we are building consensus slowly. It's a process, and in a way all these sticks which are thrown into our wheels by the opposing so-called dark force are necessary to some degree. It's kind of, they give us the final raffiness, it's the final polish of that diamond, personally and also collectively, to deal with these higher levels of frequencies. It's kind of like a blacksmith forging a new vessel. There is intensity, there is heat, there is pressure. So the more we allow these things just to be there as a necessary whatever annoyance, you could say, the more we allow it, the better we can handle it. Anyway, It's super interesting time. We're moving towards the big solar eclipse of the 2nd of October. I hope I have a little more time in a few days to do another recording. I have actually charts lined up, but I'll leave it at this for now and say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here again, and talk to you soon. And love you all. Thank you.